on Sunday night skills. So welcome everybody. We are so excited to be here tonight. And this is by far, if you were here to listen to that song, as I was listening to that, I thought to myself, this is such a suited song for not only for all of us to put on our playlist for 2021, just like Debbie did, because I have my playlist that's called Unstoppable for 2021, but it doesn't have that song, so it's going to be added as of tomorrow. But you know, it just comes down to today, we're talking about mindset. We're talking about the difference that makes the difference. And often we talk about, okay, we give the disclaimer, only 1% of people achieve that level. And we're talking tonight about not only becoming the 1%, but how do you become the 1% of the 1%? And it all comes down to what makes the difference that makes the difference. Okay, this is all that we're talking about tonight. And when I think about my journey at Arbonne, I definitely came in with work ethic, but I definitely lacked that champion mindset. And as I started studying successful people, which is ultimately what our job is in Arbonne, the more you study what successful people are like, not just in Arbonne, but in life, you'll notice that they become students of life. And I'm so happy that this is the subject that we're talking about 7 days before we close out the second month of the year. But how you start the year is how you're going to finish the year. And the mindset that we have going into the next week, and not just into the next week, or how has been your mindset over the last 7 first weeks of the year, will determine how your year is going to be. And I'll tell you, like, I wake up with my goals going, I go to bed with my goals going, they are in front of me all day long. And maybe that's not the case right now, but that was the time to really assess where you're at. And so the biggest question to ask you right now is, what are you focusing on? Are you focusing on where you're at or what you're about to create? Because the answer to that question is going to determine all of the energy that's going to come out of you in the next coming weeks. And I love the fact that when we're prepared, like, you're always prepared. You don't have to prepare for anything. Like, it's just, how did I write that down? You don't have to get ready if you always stay ready, right? Like, and I remember along my journey, it was like all this roller coaster of emotions because I didn't have my mindset at the right place. And so mindset is by far the most important variable when it comes to building your business. And in every aspect of your whole business, you're going to see that this is it, right? So creating a strong mindset and growth is essential to not only becoming the 1%, but the 1 of 1%. And so I'll tell you that throughout the last few years, what I've realized is that I don't feel the need to we all have like these ups and downs in our businesses, but you just have to keep yourself in check if you're in a victim mindset, okay? And victim mindset has no place to be. Like, think about Muhammad Ali, okay? Or like Michael Jordan, like all the greats of the world. I think about those people all the time when I think about, like, what do I want to really, who do I want to be, not only in our industry, but who do I want to be in life? And what I love about all of us being here tonight is that each and every one of us can decide who we are going to be in our industry and in our company right now, because it's like ground floor Google, okay? Like, what the next 5 to 10 years in Arbonne are going to be incredible. If you think about how far we've come already, when I started Arbonne, we were at the top 45 in the whole world of network marketing companies. Now we are the 19th. I literally have goosebumps thinking about where we are going to be. But the only difference between it's not the time lapse that's going to make it. And if you're here right now, the time will go by, and it might just go by just like that. I'm just going to make sure you guys mute out your lines as you come in. The time's going to go by either way. It's the energy and the mindset that you're bringing to the table that's going to be really deciding what's going to happen with that. And so I really came up with a few top, I put out two, because I didn't want to go over my notes like I normally do, and I wanted to stay consistent and on point with what I wanted to say. So I have a couple top tips on to how to close out this month specifically, but also what you can implement into your business as of right this second, okay? So number one tip is you're going to take 100% responsibility of the results that are in your business right now. Whether you have people in your business, right? We all have, some of us have teams, some of us don't. But what we can't control QBs, but we can 100% control the energy. And the energy will be dictated by what you're willing to put into your business. And so we have 7 huge days to the month, okay? I know for myself that activity cures everything, and activity cures everything, okay? It cures everything and it energizes me. It always energizes me. So just look, if you're looking at your results and you're pumped about your finishing up and wrapping up your goal, take a look at, okay, what do I have on the calendar right now? How many three-way calls do I have? How many how many guests do I have on the upcoming Discover Arbonne? And just a small parenthesis, I'm doing the English Discover Arbonne on Tuesday night on behalf of Debbie, which is such an honor. Debbie, I love you. And so I'm going to be doing, so how many guests do you have at 8 p.m. on Tuesday night booked? Who's coming on that line, right? You've got to know where you're going. And sometimes along the journey, I know for myself, I had built a little bit of leverage. I had built a team in Arbonne, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is great. This is so great, right? And I talk about that all the time because I think we do get comfortable. And the last thing that we do want to become as we grow ourselves to the being excellent, and this is the call that we're really speaking to the people that want to be excellent. And that comes down to mindset. And it comes down to never, ever, ever in any circumstance treating yourself like a victim, whether you feel like a victim of because whatever's going on with your upline, whatever's going down with your downline, whatever's going down with your surroundings. You take 100% responsibility of the energy that surrounds you. And so that goes along with the activity that's going on in your business. And then the second thing that I'm going to talk about, which is a very sensitive subject sometimes with people, but this is a very, very, very important subject. When I talk about taking 100% responsibility, it's taking a look at who we have around us. Now, certain variables of certain people that we have around us, but I'll tell you along my journey between area and region, I started to have really great, and that's one of the best things about our business is the culture, okay? I love the culture. I love Arbonne people. But along my journey, I started to get a little too close, a little too side sisterish with people who were allowing me to be in a victim mindset. And now it's time to take a look at who you have around you over the next 7 days, and more so in your life, and who are you being accompanied by on this journey? Are they helping you level up? Okay, because this is probably the determining factor whether you're going to grow an exponential business or whether you're going to stay flatline and grow slowly throughout your journey. Okay, and I know for myself, I was getting disappointed with the results that I was getting in my business at one point. And then I had to really look in the mirror and look at the kind of conversations that I was entertaining. And I had to take a look at that, and I had to cut some people off. And I'm sorry to say that, but it was actually the most beneficial thing for my downline and for the future of my business to have cut away those conversations, because you want to be around people who are going to push you. Okay. And a lot of times we don't want to be close to people who want to push, who are greatness, right? Because they'll make you uncomfortable. They'll put I look at how I love being like a sidelines and partners with Debbie now. It makes me uncomfortable because it pushes me to another level, right? So when we get close to people who are great, they're leveling up so much. Like think about when you're out for dinner, who's like an advocate for healthy living, and maybe you go off on this and you're like, I love to eat chips and gravy, like whatever you eat. I don't know what you eat, but whatever you're with somebody who's super disciplined. You're not going to go off on a limb and go like order nachos, cheese, and French fries in front of this person. You'll be embarrassed. You're not going to do that. You're going to try to level up and eat some proper things. And the same thing goes if you're around somebody who drinks pints of beers, and then you just fall in that trap and you're going to be drinking. I look back at the kind of people I was hanging out with in the beginning of my journey with Arbonne. And that's why I really feel like this is the school of life in Arbonne. Like if you want to really grow, this is the school of life. Like look at who you're hanging out with. Look at the things that you're feeding your mind. Take 100% responsibility of what you're feeding your mind. Be observant of the things that are being fed to you. Observe them, question them, do those things, because that's what's really going to grow you to the next level. And, so on that note, be on a mission to, don't wait on your prospects. Don't wait on anybody in your downline. Be observant of who's around you and really, really take control of what's going on in your business this week and what's going on in your mindset, who's surrounding you. This is probably the most important advice that I could tell you. So when you're on a mission, one of the biggest mistakes that we do in our industry, and this is amateurs in network marketing do this, that they have a sense of urgency, okay? But then they put the sense of urgency only on one or two prospects or people they're taking a look at the business. And this is probably the biggest mistake that we can do. And it's actually a really big disservice to all of us who are professional network marketers, because you have a big goal, That's amazing. You got to own that goal, but you've got to take that responsibility and lay that out by building tons of relationships and touching base with tons of people. That's what you've got to do. You've got to like really not put the pressure of your dream on one person, not put the pressure of your dream on the few people in your business. Put the pressure of your dream on you and you building relationships and you exposing the business and you doing that thing. And you'll see that that's what's going to create exponential growth in your business, because the people that you're going to bring in are going to come into an awesome energy because you're fired up, because the luck doesn't exist. Okay. Like if people think that people got lucky, I always laugh, like when people are like, oh, you're so lucky that you sponsored this person. I'm like, okay, like I have this fundamental belief that the harder I work, the luckier I get. But there is no one that gets lucky by being handed a downline or by waking up one morning and saying, oh my God, I just promoted to regional vice president. Oh my God, I just promoted to area manager, just like that. It's going to take intention if you're running towards your goal. And so having that mindset, and when you see yourself getting into a victimhood mindset of, oh, poor me, switch that. Feed yourself other stuff. And when you start seeing, oh, some people are allowing me to use my excuses. And I'll tell you, like, I have a young baby, okay? I have a 16-month-old baby. I could be using all kinds of excuses to be saying why I'm not building my business right now or any of those things. But you know what? I'm so committed to the example that I'm giving to my kids that by far outweighs any excuse that I'm ever going to lay on the table. Ever. I mean, anybody who knew me 16 months ago when I gave birth, I missed one Sunday night call because I literally just gave birth 17 hours before that, but I was on the next Sunday night call. That was just, that's my commitment, right? And so look at your commitments and the things that you literally, the stories you tell yourself, and watch how if you were to switch that story around, and if you were actually to be committed, what kind of people would you be attracting to your business? Because we only attract the type of people that we are to our business. I look at the people that I was enrolling at the beginning of my business and the type of people that are attracted to signing up with me now they're totally different business builders. They're totally different leaders. They're visionary leaders. And so take a look at that. Believe you're supported. Of course, we're always supported. We are always supported. You have to know that whatever obstacles coming your way, the obstacle is only there to test you. And so when you start to look at Arbonne like a game, like it's like, oh, okay, I got this obstacle. I know that every obstacle that comes my way is just growing me to the next level. The obstacle is not there to defeat me and to put me down. It's there to test me and to bring out the best of me. And so this is always coming and taking out the best of you to going to the next level. And so those were really the top 2 tips that I really wanted to share with you guys before passing it off to Debbie, because I know that she was going to like rock this whole thing when it came down to mindset. But those are the things that I've learned the most. And I had to let go of my victimhood mindset because, you know, we've heard this so many times, like you could look at your upline, but you could look at your downline and, oh, what if this person would have done that? But when you invigorate energy into your business and you take 100% responsibility of what you're doing, you will absolutely be triumphing. Like you're going to like own your business. You're going to become one of the most inspiring leaders in this business, because that's really what it takes. And I hope to be surrounded by so many of you that are celebrating your success on the 28th of February or even before then. So just know that whatever comes your way this week, it is just testing you. And we are going to have a blowout 7 days of magic showing up in all of our lives this week. And so on that note, I'm passing it off to Debbie, who is absolutely the ambassador. And if you guys haven't heard her new podcast, I'm obsessed. I'm so proud of you, Debbie. And I'm so grateful to be aligned with you because, you know, this is just like an automatic thing of like, oh my God, Debbie should have had a podcast years ago. This is just like a natural evolution of who you are. And so I'm so grateful and proud of you. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I love you. And this is such a perfect topic. Like we couldn't have picked a better date for this. And you know, one of the things Alex and I never speak about what we're going to speak about before we get on these calls. So obviously they're all going to overlap, but we never even talk about it because then we'll overthink the whole situation. Okay. So I wanted to just touch on something. I take notes as you speak, right? And so you talked about the Discover Arbonne that you're doing on Tuesday night. And you guys, when we talk about mindset, leaders are visionaries. Leaders have a vivid imagination. And so one of the greatest things you can do when you're creating mindset is to play games, okay? And the game, so one of the games that you've heard me talk about all the time is like for this month, for example, for any month, whatever your goal that you set for yourself, whether that's 2,500, whether it's 6,000, whether it's 7, it's your specific thing. But imagine if you were whatever amount of QV you are from that right now, what if that represented completing region or completing nation? Would you even think about next monthing it? Or would you be a beast right now with your heart pounding? That's a game that's how you build discipline. That is something that I did every single month, my first 6 months in Arbonne. To every goal I went for, whatever it was, I was envisioning, this is the moment. It's like the Grammys. I'm an MVP. I'm completing with this. And so I was feeling that love and feeling that deep desire, and it was inspiring me to take action. Okay. So here's a game that I want you to play for Tuesday night. And here's the difference. Everything that's going to come out of my mouth. Okay. First of all, you should know this right off the bat. And we didn't say this, but our results are not typical and they are not average. Okay. However, we will forever be a stand of what's possible. This is not a Discover Arbonne. It's a training call. And I want to say it's a high level training call. Like, you're here to learn how to grow your business, right? So when we look at Discover Arbonne's, now I know that I host one Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, and I host it Saturday at 10 a.m. So like Debbie just did mine on Saturday, Alex is going to do mine on Tuesday. I'm going to bring in some guest VPs as well, sharing their story, because it's really nice to mix it up, okay? But here's what average do, okay? You're not, first of all, I'm going to tell you this, you're not average. You can make a decision to take your butt out of that category and draw a line in that in the sand. This is what average people do. I'm going to invite, and if I have a guest, I'm going to be on. Let me tell you the way I was coached when I started Arbonne. Now I had big goals. You might not have big, I had big goals. I looked at the person that shared Arbonne with me and said, I want to be not only a national vice president, but just like Alex's book, I want to be in the 1% of the 1%. And tell me what I need to do, because I am coachable and I will do it. And one of the first things that came out of her mouth was not only plug in, like we know that I could plug in, but there's this thing called opportunity costs. Am I really going to be maximizing that time? So plugging in is being on that call. Plugging in is listening to Alex do the Discover Arbonne, whether you have a guest or not. That's plugging in. But how do you draw that line in the sand and make that deliberate decision? How do you separate yourself from the rest? So I was coached that, at the time, I say back in the day, we did them in the hotel. It wasn't that long ago. Okay. And so when I started Arbonne, we did 2 big Discover Arbonnes every month. And this is what I was told. If you really want to build that business, you're not only there every time there's a meeting, you fill up a row with guests. Okay. And so you can take that information. Now we get paid on results, right? We don't get paid on effort. So somebody, I'm throwing out, that could be 20 phone calls to get 5 guests. That could be 100 phone calls. That could be 50 phone calls. That's why we say don't compare. We all have a different level of belief. We all put a different level of value. There's somebody that might say, there's this DA on Tuesday and it would really mean the world to me if you got on. And then there's somebody that might be like, oh my gosh, you have to hear about this. I thought of you. You'd be amazing. It's creating urgency. It's putting a value on that. So you can't compare 2 people that invite the same amount of people and get a different result. You can call that luck. I call it intention. I call it growth. I talk, you're growing yourself. So here's the thing. Average people would say, if I will, if I have a guest, I will get on. This is what the 1% of the 1% say. I'm getting on that call. I'm committed to that call. I'm going to maximize my time and my results. If I have to make 100 phone calls, I will be on that call with guests. I am leading an organization to the top of this company, and my example is everything. My team will never scroll through and not see me on, because how do we really grow an organization? We enroll. So if we're not on there as a leader with guests, I'm just going to say this with love, how can you ever expect your team? How can you place a value on those things? Okay, so that was that. So when we talk about mindset, so I made a few notes as well, and I'm going to do my best to pack it into the next few minutes. What I love about this week, I love close week. You know why? And again, I'm saying this with love. It separates those with interest and those with commitment. Most people at the beginning of the month are really interested in their goal. They're pumped. They're psyched. Arbonne put out incentives, promote to DM. I get the $200, promote a DM. They get $200. You know the incentive. Everybody's pumped. We're walking on. It's like a New Year's all over again. Every first of the month, the ball drops, and we come out, and our guns are blazing. Our flags are high. We could start a parade. And then you know what happens? This time, it's like going to the gym February 1, and all of the machines that were filled, there's only 4 people on them now. Why? Because the other 3,000 didn't have a firm butt in the first 2 days they went to the gym, so they gave up. They gave up. And I see some of the heads nodding, you guys. So this is, I'm always going to say it. I don't know why I wore long sleeves. I'm sweating. Okay. This is the week that I want you, no matter where your mindset is right now, that you're going to look in the mirror and say, I am in this to win this. And winning, it's a winning mindset. It's a winning energy. It's winning yourself over. It's becoming the better version of you. So it's like, I'm going for this no matter what. I'm focusing on all the good, everything that I have going good. The law of attraction is absolute. We are the greatest magnets in the universe, and the energy we give off, we're drawing it to us, right? So if we're going to look at our business right now, and let me tell you something, you might be on target to hit your goal. Don't exhale, run faster. Maybe you've met it, surpass it. The goal is to grow through your goal, not to hit it in an ultimate world, right? You could also be in that position saying, okay, so it feels out of reach. Of course it feels out of reach. We're not the person yet. We haven't become the person. It is out of that reach. So average people at this very moment, pull back. Average people are willing to go for it if they can see it. And what are they using to see it? Their eyes, their web stats, and their current organization. The leaders, this is where we talk about consultants and visionaries. What do you see? What do you believe? What are you attracting? What are you creating in 2021? And you guys, I've always been real, but I'm going to be extra really real, okay? Because as we close this month, we're down 2 months out of 12. So when we set a yearly goal and we get to a week before and we're like, okay, we're not exactly where we thought we would be. March is my month. Here's the news flash. No, it's not. It's not the month that changes. It's the person you change into. It's the leader that you develop into. And it comes in these quiet times. This is where character is built. This is where vision is built. When nobody's around going, you're right there. You're right there. It's when you feel far and you're like, you know what? I am rolling up these sleeves and I'm playing to win. And just like Alex talked about obstacles, you guys, the obstacle is the way. It's the way. There is no way you could possibly get to area manager without obstacles. Possibly can. Okay. I mean, you could basically personally sell your way to area manager. Some people can get to area manager without enrolling. I mean, that's quite honest if you're in enough personal activity, but it's almost impossible to get to regional vice president and national vice president without obstacles. The obstacles are there to grow us, right? So we can become more. This is the week for the vision. This is one to have the mindset of joy. Like joy, like when you hit a point where you're like, oh my gosh, what are you creating this year? What does your organization look like? Have you created that? Are you visualizing it? Are you going for it? Because remember, we don't attract what we want in Arbonne. We attract what we're being in Arbonne, okay? So winners know that it's all about the push and it's all about the stretch. Now, it's amazing that we're also talking about The Secret tonight, if you're part of our book club. And The Secret, so right now, The Secret is all about this week, because we could use words like, I am an RVP, I am an NVP, I am, but the words are meaningless without the feeling, right? This is when you're going to know what your level of feeling is. Where's your level of belief? What are you attracting more into? Are you focusing on what you're attracting into your business, or using your eyes to see? Again, Alex talked about like the two, it's amazing because I did a coaching call with somebody yesterday and they were like, I don't know what I'm going to create in the next week because the 3 people I have in the pipeline, I think after the 3 people you have in the pipeline, 3, stop. And this is somebody who's committed to being a region, okay? And she's probably listening, but you know that I love you very much. 3 is not enough. It should be 3 before our next call, okay? You want to be talking to so many people. So feel your success, be grateful. And when we're feeling that way, like you know what you're creating, you know where you're going, you've been working on your mindset, you're focusing on abundance, the action does not feel useless. It's never useless. So many people feel the fear, the action, because they think, what if I don't hit it? You're going to be further than you are today. Success is not a where you are on the 28th. Success is what you do every single day of your business to move your needle forward. Okay. And so when we talk about mindset, I want you to visualize yourself that you're a mind builder. People are bodybuilders, right? And what do they do to become, like, I don't know if you guys follow Sarah Law. She's in Arbonne. She's a national vice president. She's also a bodybuilder, like a bikini model. Like her body is ridiculous. Like it's unbelievable. It's not even normal, ridiculous. Okay. However, like somebody like me can say it's not even normal, but to her, it is the normal. Why? She takes pride in it. It's important to her. She does something every single day to build and tone and strengthen. It's what she puts in her body. It's what she puts in her mind. It's her daily regimen. It's her exercise. It's all of it. She is a bodybuilder. But you don't just decide to become a bodybuilder. You become a bodybuilder. And then when you become a bodybuilder, the way you stay a bodybuilder is to do what you did every single day to maintain that physique and that energy. So what is a mind builder? It's not like you just wake up one day and say, I have the most amazing mindset. You guys, I would love to say that that's what I've done in my Arbonne journey, but I would be completely out of integrity. I came into Arbonne different than most people. I came in with a rock solid mindset. I came in what felt like 10 feet tall and bulletproof. But you guys don't even know in 15 years, the stuff that boom, the stuff that have tried to take out my vision and tried to get in the way of my mindset. And it takes deliberate. And there's some days where it's an hour worth of work for mindset. And then there's been days where it's 4 hours worth of work. You don't know what goes on behind the scenes. Just like when you look at a bodybuilder, you think, oh my God, it's the genes. It's not the genes. It's the effort. Every single day that nobody sees, that nobody else is doing. So I want you to commit to be a mind builder, because that's how you become a business builder. That's how you become a people builder. That's how you become a leader builder. That's how you become a vision builder. It starts in the mind, the way a bodybuilder starts in the gym. It's the internal work. And when we look at the personal growth, it's the personal growth that prepares us for the action. The personal growth is like practicing your lines before the movie. You wouldn't practice your lines for all those hours without getting out on stage, right? And so what you do in personal growth, that's what's going to show up in your activity, in the way you speak, in the way you handle yourself, in the way you look at this week. And here's the thing, and I'm going to say this with so much love. Isn't it amazing? Let's just say you're an area manager, and I'm making up that title, okay? Let's say you're at, again, I'm making up the QV, okay? Let's say you're at 25,000 and you 1,000% feel that regional vice president qual is right there. What's the energy you would take with your team right now? What would be what would the calls look like? What would the enrolling look like? What would the team atmosphere look like? What would that look like? Now let's look on the flip side. Let's say you're an area manager right now and you're sitting at $5,000. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. Would your energy be the same if you were at 25,000? And if the answer is not an overwhelmingly, abso-freaking-lutely, let me ask you just a question. Why? Who is this really about? Who is this really about? Are we there for our team when something can be done for us? Or are we willing to show up like the champion and coach our team to win no matter what? It's amazing to me how when there's a qual in vision or a completion in vision or something in vision, because we could see it in our site and web stats tells us so, we show up a certain way. But then when it feels far, or maybe when we've achieved that title, but we're not quite ready for the next title, our leadership is not quite the same. Our vision is not quite the same, but it is. You're that same person. It's just shifting the mindset. It's it. It's just shifting the mindset and coaching your team to win. So I'm going to ask you, and I've trained on this many times, but one of our goals for 2000, actually our number one goal, honestly, in my opinion, in 2021 is becoming the leader that our team and our future team deserves to follow. Becoming that person. And I did this training, but I'm gonna close this if let's just say right now you're a leader, you 1,000%, and I'm using region and nation because those are usually the things that people get the most excited about, even though I still remember the day I promoted to district. I was totally pumped, okay, but I'm just using region and nation. So let's just say you're that area manager right now at 25,000, or you're that regional vice president now at 100,000, and you 1,000%, you are ready emotionally to lead your team to region and nation qual. Okay. How would you want their level of energy to be this week? How would you want your team's level of going for it to be this week? What would you want your team's level of enrolling to be this week? What would you want your team's level of activity to be this week? What would you want your team's mindset to be this week? So now I'm going to ask you this. It's not really a question, but it's becoming that person. It's becoming that person. It's being that level and becoming that person in order to create a team, right? It's that. How would you want your team to show up this week? That's how you show up this week. That's how you attract it into your business. You fall in love with your vision. You get down and dirty. You get in that Rocky Balboa gym and you say, I've got goals for 2021. And it's starting right here, right now, because the close of every week. Okay. We go from everybody pumped at the beginning of the month. This is not just Arbonne. This is network marketing, it's entrepreneurship, it's goals, it's training for a marathon, it's the extra degree, it's everything. This is just a fact of life. On the 1st, then on the 15th, half the people gone. You don't even hear from them again. You don't even know if you're scrolling through, you don't know if they've been abducted, you're not quite sure, right? Then by this time, people are there, but they're not, the same fire's not there because the belief and the mindset is a little bit altered. You guys, this is the time, and I point that out because it's ready to say, you know what? I am shifting that. I've got big goals. I have big visions. I am attracting everything. I'm focusing on all that I'm grateful for. I'm going to manifest my close, and I am going to live in that mindset until the 28th at 1 a.m. And that is going to carry over into my March. The way to have big goals is to have that big and powerful mindset every single day, no matter what. So I am wishing you guys the most amazing week. And I want you to realize you have the power to create anything and everything. But I want you to bring yourself to that place that you are the area manager sitting at 25,000 and you're no matter where you are in your business, and you're that national vice president sitting at 100. How would you show up the rest of the week? Because your team knows when you're showing up, when there's a qual and a completion. They absolutely know it. So I love you guys. And if any of that felt, You know, that's why I'm here. Like, that's why I'm here, to bring out your very, very best, because 2021, we are becoming the next level of ourselves. So I love you guys. I'm gonna turn it back to Alex.
Oh, I love it, Debbie. I wrote literally like 7 pages of notes. You never bore me. Okay, so I'm gonna leave you guys with one of my very, very, very favorite quotes from my main man, Jim Rohn. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenges, wish for more wisdom. And on that note, have the most amazing close week ever. I love you guys.
See you guys at 9.
Big time, yeah. I can't wait. See you.